Hello, hello, ladies. How are you? Let's get going. Let's get this thing on the road. Okay, so to jump off, you guys, we really do need to start in an area that I feel that is important, that we need to keep in the front of our mind. And this will be fun though, because it'll be unlike anything you've ever done before. So we're gonna have a good old fashioned goal setting session. Now, before you roll your eyes and turn me off, hear me on this. This will be like unlike any other goal setting that you've ever done, ever. So it's not about creating the list of audacious goals that you want to do in the next 5 years and then 10-year plan and then 20-year plan. Although, hear me on this, I want to be very clear. I find that incredibly important. I do find that a man with no vision does perish. I believe that 100%. I am a believer and I actively create audacious goals in my own life. One of my goals, just to share with you, is having a Porsche Carrera 911 Turbo. Okay, it's like a $200,000 car. It's audacious, okay? And so I believe in audacious goals. I believe that you should set them. Like I said, I do believe that a man with no vision does perish. I do believe that your goals will help you focus. I do believe that they will keep you motivated. I do believe that you should have them. Your kids should have them. Your husband have them. You should have them as your family, as a career. I do believe that, but I also do believe that they're chips and salsa, meaning that they're extra. They kind of come along and they're yummy and they're delicious and they're fun to have. Everybody loves them. They're so good when you get them. But just like chips and salsa, they don't last long. Okay? They don't bring you fulfillment. Have you ever gotten a goal? Have you ever strived and worked your tail off and focused and delivered and achieved a goal to only think, is this it? Was that it? This is what this looks like. This is what this is. Or even got there and thought, oh, that's not what I was expecting, right? If you eat too much chips and salsa, you get fat. Sometimes audacious goals are like that. Again, I'm not saying don't have them. Don't twist my words here. I'm not saying that at all. I think you should have them. I think you should dream and dream big. I think you should do vision boards if you want. I think you should sit down and ask yourself the question, if I can do anything at all, failure's not an option. What would I do? Write that stuff down. It is fun. It is playful. It makes you focus, gets you motivated, makes things worthwhile, brings pleasure. Abso-stinking-lutely. But remember, they're chips and salsa. So and how I know that they're chips and salsa, I'll just give you a couple examples. So chips and salsa audacious goals are the goals that what happens is this is why when you have someone that maybe, let's say he's like CEO of a top Fortune 500 company, okay? He has an income that most of us would only dream about. He drives an amazing car, like a Porsche Carrera 911 Turbo. He has an amazing wife. He's got 2.5 kids. He, lives in this great home, and he's completely miserable and wants it all to end. How does that up? How is that possible? Happens all the time though, right? Or what about actors? Unfortunately, we see this one all the time. We see actors all the time that are funny and beloved, and we all just adore their movies, and they bring such entertainment and fun to our lives, and they're just completely empty, feel lonely, and they just are completely miserable. How does this happen, you guys? It's because of audacious goals are important. Audacious goals are, like I said, they're amazing. They're chips and salsa. They should be had. But what I'm going to teach you guys today is we're going to talk about your one-way ticket. And we're going to talk about goals that actually are fulfilling. We're going to talk about goals that when you lay your head on that pillow at night, you feel accomplished. You feel fulfilled. No matter what happens in life, you feel like you are getting it done. Like you are achieving the goals that are true and dear and dear and dear to your heart. Not goals that are culturally acceptable. Not goals that your ego wants to have, right? Again, none of that is wrong. I have those goals. I believe in those goals. But those are not the goals that get you at the end of the day where you're fulfilled, where you aren't questioning, is this it? These are the goals that push you to go further and farther and bigger and better and actually feel completely confident and in love with your life and what you're doing, okay? So go with me here because it's a little bit different. It's a lot of bit different. So this is the one-way ticket, I call them. So what I want you to do is be brave and be bold and be vulnerable. And please trust me here for just a minute because this is a topic that a lot of people don't like to talk about. But we're going to go to the end of your life. Because you guys, we're on a one-way ticket. Meaning we got a one-way ticket. We are on our plane of our trip called life. And at some point our plane's going to land. And we don't get a round trip ticket back. We don't get to loop back around the other way. We are on one-way trip here. One-way ticket. Okay? And at some point that plane is going to land. We don't know when. We don't know how. None of that really matters. What does matter is when that plane lands, are you going to be satisfied with your trip? Are you going to be happy with what you did and where you went? How was your trip? Would you recommend your trip to friends and family? Would you recommend your trip? Would you do it again? Would you have changed your itinerary? Would you have changed the people who you spent time with? Would you have changed things that you did or didn't do? These are the things that we're really going to take some time, and I encourage you to get that pen and paper. I encourage you to take a few minutes and to dig deep. Now, the only reason why this is uncomfortable for people is kind of an oxymoron, because the reason why, if this conversation is uncomfortable for you, is because you actually haven't done what I'm asking you to do. Because if you do what I'm asking you to do correctly, you're going to have a list of things that you want your life to be full of. That this conversation, it's okay when that day comes because you'll be actually fulfilling them. The reason we don't like to have conversation about the end, like that end game goal, if you will, like that one-way ticket, that plane landing, the reason we don't want to have conversations like that are because we are not filling our lives with the things that are truly near and dear to our hearts. The true dreams, the true desires, the true things that are deep down in there that I know that at the end of the day, this is what makes me fulfilled. This, if I just had this, that's all I need. And here's an encouraging thing for you guys. When I do this, when I did this the first time, when I created this, and then when I did it obviously myself, and when I've done it with other women that I'm working with, what's really cool and encouraging is that the list isn't even that long. Because when you boil down to, okay, my one-way ticket, my plane is landing, and I'm going to look back on my trip. And I'm going to think who I spent it with, how I spent it, who was I on the trip, would I recommend it? If I wouldn't recommend it, what would I have changed about it? Right? Where do I really must go? What do I really must see? What do I really must do? You find those things, the list is not normally very long. And the cool thing about that is that you have time to accomplish them. You have time to make sure on a daily basis that you are fulfilling these goals. These are the goals that will fulfill you. These are the goals for your family that do not create guilt. These are the goals that culturally do not make you feel like you're a failure. These are the goals that make you feel like you're actually winning, that you are actually in a place where you are succeeding in life, where you are happy and fulfilled with what you are doing. And then the audacious goals that we talked about, they are chips and salsa. They are fun. They don't become a controlling, must-have, stressful goal. They become, okay, I'm already fulfilled here in my one-way ticket goals. Now I can add the Porsche Carrera 911 Turbo, and it's chips and salsa. It's just icing on the cake. It's fun, but I'm not stressed to get that job. I'm not stressed to get that car. I'm not stressed to, lose the 100 pounds or whatever. I'm not stressed to do it. I actually get to do it. It's actually chips and salsa. It's icing on the cake. It's extra, but I'm already achieving what's really near and dear to my heart over here in my one-way ticket goals. So I already have fulfillment. And when you come from a place of fulfillment, you guys, then the other goals that you want to achieve are going to be vastly easier. They're going to be so attainable. And they're, like I said, not going to control you. So I encourage you, take a few minutes as your homework for today. Take some time and put yourself on that time where the captain comes on and he's like, prepare for departure. Because we're going to land. And your trip is about to end. What is it that you want to have? What is it where you want to go? Who do you want to spend time with? What is absolutely a must of a must of a must? Okay, write that stuff down, have it in front of you. That is your goal. Those are your ultimate life goals. And then as we go through the series, then you're going to keep those goals in mind. You're going to keep those goals at your forefront. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get them. I'm going to show you how maybe some of those goals, because some of our goals you might be thinking, oh my gosh, you might have a little bit of regret because you missed out already, or you feel like you're missing out, or whatever. Put them on the paper. Don't let them control you. I will show you through the rest of this series. We're going to show you how to get those one-way goals. All right, you guys, let's get going. I'm excited. Be brave, be bold, be vulnerable, and let's go get your joy back.